Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast. I'm losing my voice. I've got a silly cough, but we're gonna get there. We are in association with Lucky Star Gin as usual, and I'm your host Mike. And with me on the panel today, we've got Alex and Gabriel. We will discuss the continuing unbeaten run of 2025. 2 games is still an unbeaten run. I'm taking that. That's fine. We'll talk about the win against Tamworth, and we're going to look forward to both Fylde and Wealdstone. As always, love hearing from you. Join the conversations. Give me the thumbs up. Give me all the likes, shares, comments, all those other little things. I do love it. Feed the ego is what I'm saying. We're going to jump in very quickly. Gabriel, you thawed out a little bit. You're a bit warmer than last night, are you? How are you been?
Definitely, yes.
And how have you been? It's been a while since you've been on. How have you been otherwise?
Good. You know, we were having a virus, the whole family, at the beginning of December.
Nice.
Probably half of London had it, or even more. So,
well, this is where my stupidity came in, because on New Year's Eve, I was just sitting. I was doing the washing up, and I went, "Do you know what? Everyone I know has been ill, and I've done really well this year, and I've not got ill." Well done, Mike. It's the kind of thing you just don't have to say.
No.
And Ultra Alex.
That's the one.
How are you?
Well, I'm part of Gabriel's ill crew. I had the double whammy. I had the really bad cold for a week and went straight into the virus straight after. So I had about 2.5 weeks, but I just didn't do anything. But outside of that, I'm doing absolutely fine. I think I'm optimistic, positive, feeling good about the 2025 season. And
just checking, you're not. I haven't done anything. Does that mean you've done like only a 10k bike ride and stuff like that? Or
yeah, content about myself. I like doing long runs, like 100 miles. So I did whilst I was ill. Yeah, I didn't do anything. Quite literally, did a 10k and then I stopped. I just was like choking, and then now we're back on it now. I've just signed up for a 280 kilometer cycle in Wales. Literally did that. Signed up this morning. 2025 shaping up well. Like banking, booking off the 10th and 11th of May for the FA Trophy final, which I'm sure we'll come to later. But 2025 is going to be good.
Excellent. Well, we're going to jump in. I don't know if I can't remember if either of you were told or you got the email with it on there, but we'll put you on the spot anyway. Knowing me, knowing you question was what's the most memorable game you've attended, and we'll get the jingle in while you have a think if you didn't see it already. So, Alex, we'll start with you. What is the most memorable game you have attended? Well, let's take to Sutton games. Should we clarify that? Let's do Sutton. What's the most memorable Sutton game you've been at?
Super easy. It's got to be Boxing Day last year, Sutton, Wimbledon away. Just the atmosphere was wicked. I had the best time. I went with my twin sister, and it was just so good. I mean, don't get me wrong, wicked stadium. Hate to say it on the pod. And that was my first time going there. But the 1-0, Swansea getting the goal, I think it was. And I mean, at that point, we're all cheering. We are staying up, which inevitably we didn't, but optimism was at its highest, I think. So I'd say that's my favourite memory.
Yeah, because that came on. Well, I think was that the first game after Matt? No,
yeah,
it wasn't the first.
one of the first. It was
one of the first,
literally
and
2
obviously
games
we'd
after
been
the
on-
8-0 battering.
Yeah, we'd had a fairly bad run up to that point as well.
I think
so,
we needed
yeah,
that.
extra sweet. And how about yourself, Gabriel? What's the most memorable game you've attended?
Well, there was I missed that game at Wimbledon, but I was there 1 year before when we also won, and it was great to see 1,000 people from Sutton there in their away end. But still, I will stick to the game against Port Vale in our first year of AFL.
Oh, yeah.
4-3 win at the last minute. We were down to 3 with 3 minutes to go from the normal time. I think it was an amazing end.
Yeah, I think I'd had a bet that we were going to win. We were losing.
Yeah,
I put some money on that we were going to win, and then we came back, and I cashed out because I kind of thought, no, that's it. Who gets there? And then they equalised very quickly afterwards, and then they then took the lead, and it was like, oh no. So yeah, that was a good day for me as well. But I should have held on. Should have been brave. Never mind.
Yeah.
Don't gamble, kids. So yeah, give us your thoughts. What's your most memorable game? I'm going to bottle it and say probably Wigan or Hartlepool at home or loads of others, Wimbledon in the FA Cup run, or anyway, I'm going to stop. So let us know your most memorable game and just tag us on the social medias. I'm so sorry, I'm just wandering all over the place. Club news, we've had a loan signing of a goalkeeper we might mention. I'm not sure if he's going to come up later. And Giannacoli has gone back to his parent club. So thanks for everything and good luck with your future career. Gabriel, what was your expectations going into this game and how did you feel at the lineup going into this game? Because obviously they've had it over us. There was a 2-2 draw at theirs. Then they beat us 2-1 in the league a couple of weeks ago. So how were you kind of feeling going into this one?
Well, it's been a while actually without a win. I think it was over a month without a win. So
in this year, just remember that.
So, you know, it has to end sometimes because we're not having a bad team. We didn't have bad games. We were quite unlucky not to win at Barnet and the game afterwards. Also. With a goal at the last minute for the opposition. And I was rather optimistic because you cannot have a losing run when you're playing decent.
Excellent. And did you have any thoughts on the lineup or as expected? Because obviously we got limited.
No, I knew that we lost our goalkeeper and we borrowed the guy from Millwall. So it was normal that he would start the game.
Alex, what about yourself? How did you feel about the lineup and what were your expectations going into the game?
Lineup, loved it because as soon as I see Coley on the bench, I get excited. Jackson seeing him running around on the bench as well. I thought if it go 1-0 down, bring them both on, we might win. I'll be honest, the last 2 games where we kept losing in not losing, conceding 4 points out in the last 2 games in the last additional time. It just, was horrible. But I went in really confident. I go into most games overly optimistic anyway. But I like the lineup. And then when we saw them play, I was very, very happy. So, I think I don't know. I always thought we were going to win. I don't know why. I just thought we only lost narrowly last time, so no reason why we shouldn't win in the cup now. They've got focusing on the Tottenham game probably. The head probably there over this game, and I just thought just go ahead, let's do it. I'm sure we're going to win.
Yeah, especially with the fact that they were originally supposed to play Wealdstone on Tuesday. They managed to get that game put back because of the cup game. And then the FA went, well, no, you can play it on that Tuesday. It's fine. So that obviously played into our hands a little bit. So, but you mentioned some of the players coming back. I didn't expect to see Josh on the subs bench, let alone coming on for the second half. And I think all the others are coming along as expected. But one of those who may be expecting to come back is probably, and definitely, because we spoke to him afterwards, and he's probably a little bit nervous about getting his place back in the next sort of 28 days, because a new goalkeeper, Alex, who he wasn't bad, was he? He's been quickly been christened Gorgeous George, but he wasn't bad at all, was he?
No, he was perfect, absolutely perfect. Just what he wanted. That's the only bit I was. God, it's total unknown, isn't it? New keeper comes in. What was it, like 2 days ago? Signed properly for the team. Loving this Millwall connection, by the way. Obviously, it comes from Steve, but it's we've got a real rotation going on there. What a game! What a game he had. I think the highlights, if you saw the extended ones on YouTube, it's just 6 of his saves, basically. I think I would say that his saves are better than the goal. Unbelievable start for him. So couldn't have asked for a better keeper, I think.
Yeah,
from the one game that we've seen him play.
Well, that was his first senior game of football. So he's not played any senior football other than last night. So I know he was delighted, and his family were there, and they were delighted as well. So well done. And as I said, as I was waiting to sort of go inside afterwards, Jack Sims walked past, and we were like, "How do you feel about that?" He goes, "I ain't getting back in the side." So yeah, he obviously was impressed as well. But Gabriel, what did you think of the injured players coming back? I know you possibly haven't seen as much of them recently because of your illness, but players coming back and that goalkeeper performance from the very young man.
Yeah, I was watching the game from the Collingwood end of the pitch, so I didn't. I realized it was a big chance at the beginning, in maybe 20th minutes or so, but I needed the highlights to understand what happened, and that was an incredible save. That was a Premier League save level. An incredible reflex, and he did well also in other occasions in the second half. So yeah, he deserves the Man of the Match award.
I'd almost say that without him, we probably wouldn't be through to the next round. I'll be honest with you. He kept us in it big. They were like 3 or 4 massive saves, which our defense just wasn't quite there. Without him, I think we'd be like 3-1 down.
I mean, no, I don't think any manager likes their goalkeeper getting a man of the match.
No,
because it kind of sounds like you've been battered. But he definitely deserved it. In fact, there were a few of us at the front going, right, if whoever's choosing the man of the match doesn't give it to George, we're just going to announce George. And that's it. We'll just give it to George and let them argue about it afterwards. And just as it was confirmed that they'd picked George, is when he took the kick and slipped over. Obviously, I had to mention that to him. He was like, "No, it was fine. It went to someone. It was one of our players." I was like, "No, I'm not going to get away with that." But Gabriel, again, I don't know where you were standing second half, but we had some good chances. We played some great football. There were a few good chances, but when the goal came, it wasn't a great chance, or it didn't seem like a great chance. It did seem like something that the keeper should have saved. What was your view of Will's goal?
Yeah, it was nobody expected the ball to get in, I think, because the keeper seemed to be on it, and he looked like an experienced keeper. He was so sure of himself in the first half. He was also the captain of the team, so you wouldn't expect him to drop in such a relatively easy shot, let's say.
Yeah, it's a bit of a, I think it was described somewhere as a daisy cutter. So, Alex, what do you think? I mean, up until that point, we had been kind of going in, out, passing it around, trying to get that perfect goal, and it was a sudden. It may have been just the randomness of, I'm just going to shoot from here, that possibly had the keeper wrong-footed. But how did you feel about the goal?
I can't say it was with the flow of play. I'll be honest with you. It was ebbing and flowing, the game. Very much a speculative shot. I felt for the keeper, like you say, he did actually have a good game. We were behind him on the in the first half. Not with him, obviously, but he had a good game, and it was his near post. He should have saved that. It went under his body. It's almost like he was too close to the post to save it.
Yeah.
But I think I was actually on my phone when he scored. That's how little I was expecting us to score. No, I saw the replay, and it wasn't exactly with the flow of the game. But I mean, a goal's the goal, isn't it? And you've got to take it, haven't you? So
these cup matches, it doesn't matter.
No,
just getting through is what's important.
100%.
I think it might be his 9th goal, someone said, which is actually not a bad return for halfway through the season.
100%.
So, I mean, obviously others are more, but we did what we haven't done the last couple of weeks. And were you nervous at 1-0? Were you kind of like, oh, it's going to come? And especially when Mr. Tonk came on, how were you feeling in those last sort of about 15, 20 minutes, Alex?
Oh, you've got to be. I think even when it got to the 78th minute, we just do that thing where we just sit back. I don't know what happens to us, but we're 1-0 up. First half, we're passing the ball, having a wicked time. Honestly, the Silva down that wing, unbelievable game. I mean, everything was going down the left side for us in the first half. And then we sort of did a bit of the same in the second half. Tamworth found their feet. And then, I don't know why we do it, but the 75th minute onwards, we just like let the pressure come to us. And I think given the games that have gone on, and the goals that have been scored last minute, you can't help but feel nervous. That's the thing. It's a cup game as well. And yeah, we were just doing much of the same. I think matches going forward, just got to believe in ourselves because we're a really good side and we pass the ball around really, really well. But I don't know why we sit back because our track record proves that that's not the way to approach games.
Well, this is where Mr. Woodyard may well be coming in and coming on for that last 15 to just organise them and shout and be like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Just get that little bit of belief on the pitch because, I mean, they all know what they're doing, as you said. But it's just that little, we're getting close now.
When did he do the play? Because I saw him in the clubhouse.
I don't think he was registered in time. I think the keeper was actually signed before it was announced.
Right.
And he wasn't registered in time for the original tie. So I think he's registered to play in league games. So I haven't heard whether there's any injury or not, but
fair enough.
I believe he's okay. It just wasn't registered. Gabriel, how were you feeling at that point of the sort of, as Alex said, 78 minutes of panic?
Given the past few games, what happened also against Tamworth in the league, it's hard not to feel anxious and not to say, "Oh, I'm not having a deja vu." You know, it's not going to happen again. But we got a bit lucky to get away with it. We had a lot of pressure at a certain point, and well, we got away.
We did get away, but we held on. Clean sheet, which is always lovely. I know I said in the cup it doesn't matter. I'd actually put us down to win 2-1 because I wanted all the results to match up nicely to be 2-1, 2-2, 2 so on. But it didn't. Anyway, they ruined my life, but fine. But as always, after a win, social media is quite quiet, which is always funny because as soon as we lose, there's loads going on. But there wasn't an awful lot to pick up. Obviously, we're delighted to be through to play Kidderminster. We don't have a great record at Kidderminster, but apparently Steve does have a great record against Kidderminster. So hopefully the two of them balance it out. I know it's a little way away yet, but what are your early thoughts about that tie, Alex? I'll start with you.
Well, I'm going to it, definitely. Full belief. As per Cody back, Jackson back, new centre back. I mean, I loved Ockley. I'm a bit of a shame to see him go, actually. Team's all right. I mean, it'd be nice to have a couple of wins in the league before the game, but I don't think there's many games between now and that match anyway. So it'd be nice to get a couple of wins on the run. But I'm feeling confident. I think the team's in a good place. I reckon we'll have a couple more signings by then anyway. Was it 1st of Feb is the match?
I think it's definitely early. Feb.
The window will be closed by then. I reckon we'll have. Do we know how many players we're expecting to come in? Because it just seems to come out of the blue for me.
I think I've heard one more defensive player.
Should make sense. Yeah.
But I haven't heard any more. But I would be surprised if we don't get a striker in as well.
Yeah, be nice.
But with Chin, I think possibly we may not have expected to get Alex Kirk. So once we've got Alex Kirk and he's our player, it makes more sense to develop him than a lone player.
100%.
That's just my opinion, anyway. But Gabriel, what do you think of the Kidderminster draw? Do you have any interest in this
Uh,
team that you've never heard of until recently?
I did heard of them because
okay.
I think two years ago or so they played a cup game, FA Cup game against West Ham, in which they
Oh, yeah.
played pretty well, and Rice scored at the extension time to draw. Maybe
Mm.
I'm not very sure, but I think
Yeah.
it was them.
I don't remember. I can barely remember Sutton matches, let alone anyone else's.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling about the draw?
Well, I would have preferred to have a home game, of course, because I'm not able to go to away games. So
Yeah. But
let's
get
hope that we
have a home
pass
game in the next one.
this round, and the next
Yeah.
round will be a home game.
Excellent. Right, so I'm going to ask you both for your good, the bad, and the funny about yesterday, and it's after the jingle. Right, everyone who keeps seeing me bobbing my head, it's because my camera's right in front of the bottom of the screen where the icons come up, so I can mute myself to cough. But Gabriel, what was good about the game for you yesterday, or the whole match experience?
Yeah, I loved the way the team played in the second half, let's say, of the first half. They had a lot of good moments. They had a lot of good flows. They should have scored at least a couple of times with a bit of luck. And it's looking nicer than like 2 months ago when the build-up in the middle was quite unconvincing. So
Yeah.
there's the progress that I can see.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, what was good for you?
Oh, I've said his name already, but the Silva, just loved it. It was wicked. Some of like the cut-ins that he did on the left wing, I thought it was wicked. That was definitely good for me, 100%. Yeah.
Player we were hoping for in the summer before he got injured.
Yeah.
Not any other thing. What was bad for you, Alex?
I mean, it's almost funny as well, but it was the take whoever's doing the corners off, because we kept oh my days, that first half we did this thing where like
that was the Silva.
Oh crumbs, was it?
Not all of them. Not all of them.
Taking off corners, keep him on the pitch. We kept doing this thing where we'd stand like furthest away from the goal, but we'd actually end up every time the ball came in, it would always drop on the near post, but we'd always stand on the far post, and 3 times it happened. And it's like the ball never had enough power to make it to what I'm sure Steve had planned for it to go. It was just an easy clearance, and that was definitely bad because it was like, mate, just give up on the corners.
But this could be tactical, you see. We could let everyone think we're rubbish on corners.
Yeah, but the fourth one
suddenly drop it in and it'd be amazing.
Okay. I mean, I don't think no wins in 5 is really the time to start these new tactics.
They've been saving it for after Christmas. Like I said, we're going to be amazing after Christmas.
2025.
Unbeaten since after Christmas. Gabriel, what was bad for you?
Well, the fear at the end that that it's going to happen again.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What was funny?
To me, we had a lady steward in front of us that was leading the cheers of the
Leanne.
kids. I don't know her name.
Yeah.
It's the first time I see her because I usually don't sit there in the back of the...
Yeah, no, she is amazing.
She was really...
Yeah. She gets quite cross with them when they're not doing it as well. They're like, come on, get involved, which is awesome. I think she's just also signed for our ladies team as goalkeeper as well. So, so yeah, very involved. Love her. Except the one time I brought Rosie and I was like, right, I'm going to make sure she knows where Leanne is. She was a day off. So it's like, right, thanks. Alex, what was funny for you?
I think the first half where it was annoying because they both went for the same ball. They both went to kick. Davies and I forgot who else went for it in the first half. Both went to kick for the ball. And it was this really tame effort to roll towards the keeper. But it should have been an absolute sitter, but they both went for it. And then from where we were standing, they both went to each other. Why did you kick it? Why did you kick it? It was quite funny. Just sort of like, well, we actually needed the goal at the time anyway. So
because neither of you put a name on it. That's
100%.
what you're taught straight off.
100%.
Yeah, mine was the referee stamping on Lewis Simper.
Did
if anyone caught it at the end where their player had fouled Lewis. He was on the floor.
Oh yeah.
and the referee come stepping forward to give the yellow card. He stood on Lewis. I was like, did that referee actually stamp on you? And he'd come back and went, I think I might have rolled into him, actually. If it's not on the highlights, I'm claiming that ref stamped on you viciously.
100%,
And it wasn't on the
100%.
highlights. So, yeah, that ref stamped on him was awful. But moving on, the Fylde game does seem a bit in danger. The weather's not looking great. I actually hadn't scheduled a podcast for after that game anyway. There wasn't many people up for it, and my birthday, so I'm going to just not bother. So there's two games we're going to be really just that get your feelings on, early thoughts. So it's Fylde and Wealdstone. Alex, what do you kind of feel about the next two games? I know you were saying we want to get a couple of wins under our belt for the next few games.
Yeah.
I just had where they were in the league, and I've cleared it off my screen.
Where's Fylde in the league?
Yeah, Fylde are 22nd and Wealdstone are 19th.
Yeah.
As much as I hate it when people say these things, we should be beating the likes of
We
these.
should be beating them. No, come on, we should be beating them. I think in Fylde, I looked at their stadium. It's a nice stadium. It's a really nice spot. It's been built in basically like a farmer's field, but it's a really cool stadium, middle of nowhere. It's just like this country track, and it's suddenly set up in this field, in this stadium. I'd be gutted if it was not that I'm going to it, but I think for the sake of the football calendar for Sutton, be a bit gutted if they did freeze it, if it was frozen off. I think to condense the league ends at the end of April. It's not that long away, but you start condensing all the games, and obviously we're going to the final of the FA Trophy, so it's it can only be. I'm still convinced we'll get the 7th place playoff. We're not going any higher than 7th. Bit concerning, no wins in 5. We played 25 games, and I think it was Rochdale or someone who played 22 games. But I think now we turn it around.
Yeah.
But we've got to beat Wealdstone. We've got to beat that. I mean, their run of games was horrendous for so long that if we don't turn up and just take the 3 points, it'd be a bit of a sting to my 7th place ambitions.
Well, we're only 5 points. I know they've got games in hand in us, but we're only 7 points off the team in 6. What do you think, Gabriel? How do you feel about the next two games?
Well, it's time for a positive run. We'll have the 3 clean sheet run at the end of November, so it's time for another good run. Let's hope that the game gets played, as Alex said, not to get a huge congestion further up the season. And that's it. Just to tell you, I Googled for Kidderminster. They played West Ham 3 years ago.
That was 3 years ago.
And they were leading 1-0 all the game. And 90 plus 1 Rice scores for 1-1, and 120 plus 1 Bowen scores for 2-1. They were really unlucky.
Very, very unlucky.
Yeah.
Well, the games we've got coming up before the trophy, actually, there's actually 4. There's Fylde, Wealdstone, York, and Eastleigh. And then the 5th round. Obviously, games you didn't factor in is this National League trophy, which I think the Nottingham Forest one has been rearranged for the Tuesday after the FA Vase or the FA Trophy game. So there's those games that have got to be factored in as well. So it is going to be busy for a little while. But that's why they got young legs. They'll be fine.
Yeah, bigger squad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it is a bit early to be asking predictions, but I don't care. I'm putting you on the spot, not me. So, Gabriel, what's your predictions for the 2 games? Pluck any numbers out of the air, it means nothing.
Fylde and Wealdstone, yeah?
Yeah.
So 1-1 away and 2-0 at home with Wealdstone.
Excellent. Alex, go on.
2 wins on the bounce. We're going for a scrappy 1-0 win against Fylde. And then it's going to be a brace from De Silva against Wealdstone. And an absolutely fantastic back bicycle kick from Silva, 3-0 against Wilson.
Okay.
So
lovely.
That's what we're going with.
That's detailed prediction. That's not just a random.
You just choose anything.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not. I'm saying you're wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Well, I'm going to see what happens against Wilson.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 against Fylde. Win, obviously.
Yeah.
And Wildstone, I think could be trickier, but Eastie is going to be banned, suspended. So he's not going to be playing. So
It's a shame.
that's very big shame. I'll go for 3-1 against them, and I will absolutely forget what I said. So better put those predictions in now. Thank you both very much. This was quite a short one, but I'm dying. So I'm gonna just go rest. We're gonna wrap up this episode. I did get into there was one thing. I got into the boardroom, much as to Bruce's dismay, with my bright yellow coat, because Ben was over and his mum was here, and I wanted to say hello to her. So he said, "Come up to the boardroom." And next thing, Bruce is like staring, going, "What are you doing in here?" He did try and claim my coat wasn't amber, and then he checked it with his tie, and had to say, "Actually, no, it's actually quite good." So the coat now has the chairman's seal of approval. I think that's what he said. I'm not sure, but yeah, that was sort of finished off my evening quite funny. But yeah, we're going to wrap up this episode of Sutton Podcast. Thanks for everyone's attention and feedback. Do get involved in the Know Me, Know You segment. Let us know what was your most memorable game. And follow, share the episode on social media, and subscribe. Give us the thumbs up, all those other bits and pieces. And we will catch you next time, which will be after the Wildstone game with Dan and Claire. And as always, thanks to the panel, Alex and Gabriel. And thank you to Lucky Star Gin. Thanks for listening and putting up with the voice and coughing if I've coughed on the microphone. But take care. We'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.
United! 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 United!